who is Satan, or the one we call the devil, the Bible describes as Lucifer. Was he evil from the start, or did something get onto him? How did this most powerful being, created by God, become the utmost evil, and created havoc upon all humanity? Let's see in this documentation of what Bible has to say about him. Satan was created as a holy angel of God, going by the name Lucifer. The Bible describes him as been created a cherub, apparently the highest created angel. Every other angel envied him for his majestic looks. He was in charge of all the music that happens in heaven. He has been in all the higher places where no one gets to go. God loved him like a son. He was perfectly created for his purpose. He for a while was the best of the best angels. He sooner became more arrogant because of his beauty and fame, and entertained a thought that he should be God, that he decided to sit on a throne above God's throne. It was the very first evil that originated from the creation against the Creator. To bring about his plan to outthrone God, he with his cunningness made 1/3 of the angels to revolt against God. It was time for the angels to choose a side, as war broke out in heaven. Michael led God's army against Lucifer. Lucifer and his angels were cast out of heaven, they all fell to the earth. Satan's pride led to his fall. Notice the many "I will" statements in Isaiah 14 verses 12 to 15. I will ascend to the heavens, I will raise my throne above the stars of God, I will sit enthroned on the mount of assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds, I will make myself like the Most High. These were the thoughts of Lucifer when he sinned against God. Because of his sin, God permanently removed Satan from his exalted position and role. God could have instantly vaporized Lucifer out of existence for his sin, but what message would that send to the other angels? Don't ask any questions, or you will be erased out of existence. The other angels will obey in fear for God, rather than love for God. God allowed Satan to exist, even though he knows Lucifer won't end his plot for revenge. God created hell for Lucifer and his angels, and appointed a day of judgment for them to be judged and thrown out to the lake of fire. God loved Lucifer as a son, and to fill his vacant place, he created man. He created Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Everything was perfect when all the creation on earth was made. It was sinless, pleasing and fulfilling. Man enjoyed a closer relationship with God. Lucifer, not able to stand the thought of God choosing a weaker creation over him, was hell-bent on destroying his creation. He took the form of a snake, and at the right time, under the right circumstances, tricked Eve into eating the forbidden fruit, thus making the mankind to fall like he did. He made humans unworthy of God's love. Literally, Lucifer and Adam made the same sin. They both wanted to become like God. But God was merciful towards humans. When Lucifer sinned, he knew all the ill effects of his sin. He has seen God face to face for millions of years. He had no excuse for his sin, whereas for Adam and Eve, even though their sin had a resemblance to that of Lucifer's, both were not entirely aware of the consequences of their sin, as they didn't even know how to distinguish between good and bad. God took pity on humans, and promised to redeem humanity from sin. Lucifer thus made sin to enter the world, and took over Adam's dominion, and became the ruler of the world. Knowing that he will not be forgiven, he set out to show his rage upon humanity. Humans are made in the image of God. Every time he destroys a human soul, he feels like getting revenge against God himself. Since Adam's time, there has been a war for human souls. He propagated a series of lies and false gods, and pretty much exacted what he wanted. He was able to betray humans with lust, money, fame and all other worldly pleasures, and was succeeding at his attempt for revenge. Only fewer faithful people make into heaven, not giving into worldly desires. We are told in First Book of Peter chapter 5 verse 8, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Satan is allowed to live, and bring about all the harm he could bring. This world belongs to him, and is ruled by him. God chooses to get victory differently. Instead of taking out Lucifer and his demons instantly, God chooses to fight this in a glorious way. He allowed Satan and his angels to live, while he equipped humankind against the power of sin and death. He made redemption available to us, through the death of his one and only Son, Jesus Christ. God finds glory in people choosing Christ over all the promises of sin and Satan. Through the death of Christ, millions of people got redemption, and were cleansed of their sin. Satan lost his grip for a while, but he came up with new tactics to keep up the soul count. He chose to propagate lies into almost everything. He had done an excellent job, that millions of people fell for it. His greatest of greatest lies, being the theory of evolution. He took God out of the picture, by inducing this idea of evolution into human minds, that mankind evolved from monkeys, and we are here by accident. Somehow out of nothing, we came to be, and became a living being with consciousness. No one made us. He propagated this lie, as a scientific fact, where science is a collection of theories, that seemingly explain the nature, and exploit the laws governing nature to our advantage. It also encapsulates a series of venomous lies, where people cannot distinguish fact from fiction. Another lie is the Big Bang Theory. Explaining how the universe was created, he made it seem like Earth, created by some kind of cosmic explosion. Somehow this trick in the name of science, really worked, and Lucifer made an awesome count of soul harvest, through these lies over the centuries. People tend to see the concept of God, and Bible, as ridiculous claims, when they see monkeys turning into a man, over millions of years to be a viable claim, not ridiculous. We are now living in end times, and the worst is yet to come. We are living in the times of tribulation. Satan, knowing that he has lesser time, will give an immense pressure on believers to give up on their love for Christ. We are always in the war. We must choose our priorities. Life is not about getting rich, or becoming popular and loved. It's about saving our soul from eternal damnation. As simple as that. As for Lucifer's future, he awaits the inevitable. From the very beginning, his demise was predicted. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, God prophesied that the serpent would bruise the heel of the seed of the woman, but Jesus, the seed of the woman, would crush the serpent's head. The defeat of Satan, in one sense, has already occurred. The crucifixion and resurrection of Christ guaranteed Satan's doom. He, along with all of the enemies of God, will be thrown into the lake of fire for all eternity. They will be tormented day and night forever and ever. There will be no relief for Satan and the enemies of God. There is not even the prospect of annihilation. The eternal suffering they endure will be a just punishment for their sins, against the infinitely holy God, whose righteousness, justice, and holy wrath will be displayed forever. This story of Lucifer's fate serves as a great reminder for all Christians to flee from the devil. He has made the evil things in this world attractive, but there is no beauty in eternal damnation. Fleeing from Satan to Christ delivers us from everlasting punishment to everlasting glorious worship. Do not let the things of the world and the pleasures lure you away from Christ. These are the very weapons Satan chooses to use against us. Satan's fate is sealed. Make sure you do not fall under the same condemnation. Like and share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more videos.